Hey guys, you're listening to Baja. How you all doing? Back again with some new content. Not really new content, but we're just gonna go over the same things as before. So basically, with the new way that the game, the year two, has come out, you heard a lot of people kind of talking about it. What can Massive really do to save the community? So what I'm gonna do is for this video, I'm gonna put out a quick video on the worst weapons of the game so far. They are under the sort of bracket of least used, underwhelming. They are probably a weapon that could be used but are kind of overshadowed by something else, and therefore like you'd only really use it if you're waiting to get the other version of it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through the video and pick out our top sort of favourites for the worst weapons. Okay, guys. So first up we have the ACR. Now, this is actually a half decent weapon. I wouldn't actually say it was completely useless. I would say it's a good gun in general. And for most of these testing, what we'll do is we'll do it without mods. But in general, at sort of scale of bad to really bad. This one's on the sort of cusp of being bad. It's completely underused, and because of the lower RPM and the damage isn't exactly perfect either. With a high bloom, it is a good gun. It holds the 30 mag. It is alright. I would say it was sort of like one of those sort of mid-scale ones. It is a wee bit harder to control because of the way it sort of kicks up, but in general, it's an alright weapon. It is just an alright weapon. It's just a case of it just needs a bit of a damage buff, to be honest with you, to bring it in line with everything else. So the next one is the UMP 45. Right, so this has a unique sort of talent where it gives you the ambusher talent and increases your damage by 10% against targets in cover. Right, we can probably see where this is going wrong already, to be honest with you. It's essentially equivalent of an AK. The UMP is basically an AK in the form of a SMG. Okay. It is pretty okay. I'd like the damage of it. It is really high damage compared to other SMGs of its class. It's probably, I think, it's one of the strongest ones to date. But because of that low RPM, it literally just doesn't do anything. As you can see, it's quite smooth. It's not like your fast firing ones, but it's pretty smooth. It is quite hard to handle at times. Bit most SMGs, but it's just meh. To be honest, it's really disappointing gun in general. The high damage is the only thing that really saves it. But again, this is why people use L-Vox over our AKs because of the high damage and rate of fire. But in general, it's a nice gun to use. It is, but the thing that makes it most useless and why it's bad is because of that talent, 10% damage while in cover. As you know, a lot of players don't use cover in PvP especially, and you'll rarely find NPCs that will stay in cover while you get up close and personal. So next up is the Damascus, as well new named the Bullfrog. This one is on the list purely because of the way it handles. It's god awful. I'm actually just gonna straight over here and like without any control over it, it's just awful. Like it kicks back at you constantly, and because of the way the talent works, you really have to sort of like work with the stability mods, but the stability mods make it actually weaker, and with a high rate of fire and a low damage, it was really not worth it to you. I don't really know how you could fix this gun at all. I really don't. It's one of those guns I don't like to use ever. It's god awful. it's that my bum is moving like no one's business. Just trying to keep this thing in line just a little bit. But far range, there's literally no point in using it. You'd be lucky if you hit the body and it'll land the head. It's awful. It's just, I hate it. So the next gun is going to be your Thompson. The Thompson is probably one of the most ridiculous guns. It's dead gimmicky. I don't really particularly like it the best times. Only good thing is it's got a mag on it. Now part of the problem with the Thompson is that the damage you do like this is okay, but generally the way it shines is its talent is to do hip firing. Now as you can see, hip firing on a dummy is alright, it's okay, but in general, trying to hit a target that's not in your face while moving is like this. It's I'm not even like, I'm trying here a little bit, but no. As noted with a shield, this is okay. I would show you it, but I don't have the patience for the defense build. No, not at all. Okay, so next up is the M60. Right, so why this is in here is on the scale of bad to worse, it kind of sits in the middle sort of thing here. It's a good gun. I actually quite like the M60, but what it really struggles with, and a lot of players will find, is that the Hungry Hog in general is better. It's marginally, the damage is slightly better, and it's basically the exact same gun. So if you're using this, you're probably going to be using it until you get a Hungry Hog, essentially. I mean, the rate of fire is half decent. It's not like the best for rate of fire, but it is actually half decent. Like going from both sort of first one here and the back one is actually pretty decent. It's not like really a big difference in change of targets. You can switch between close targets, long distance targets. Good for suppression, but again, reason why it's on the list is because its counterpart, the Hungry Hog, is so much better. Okay, so you'll notice this is a blue one. I just wanted to get this one in particular. I didn't want to actually have it like as a gold, because this makes no difference because it's so crap. The MK4 is the sort of faster firing version. It's got 50 more RPM than the M60, but for some reason the damage seems to drop off quite a lot with this one. It's a really, like, the damage is it's a lot lower in a sort of sense. I know that's kind of hard to understand there, but it's for 50 RPM. The damage is a lot different, and that kind of shows when you compare it to the M60. Don't get me wrong though, it's a good weapon. I like using it, but for some odd reason I don't know what it is, but see with the fact that it's the stability on it is insane half the time. I don't understand why this gun gives so much feedback compared to the other LMGs. It is a wee bit harder to control. I'm having to actually use my thumb quite a bit there to try and keep that down. Again, this is just one of those, this kind of worst version. If you had the choice between this and Hungry Hog or M60, like 9 times out of 10 you would pick the Hungry Hog, and the other time would be the M60. So the next up is the Showstopper. On this scale to bad to worse, this is just it's horrible. I mean, the damage itself on this gun is considerably low compared to most of the other shotguns, whereas the rate of fire is where it shines, as well as its unique talent. That's every time you get sort of lower on your clip, it will become more accurate. which is nice and it's a good novelty weapon, but the damage is just far too low for it to be considered good by any means. And just like most guns, close range, shotguns, really nice, but again, your barrel overheats, so the more you get to the end of your clip, you're going to be harder to control. Only good thing is it does kick up the way and not to the sides as much, so you're really looking at headshots at the end of your clip. Apart from that, like most shotguns, it is absolutely horrible at range. Absolutely dreadful at range, but that's not really why it's a bad thing. Generally this is just a horrible weapon to use. It's so underwhelming. It's really considered kind of low damage scale by shotgun standards, and it's not worth your time. So next up is the SOCON Mark 20 SSR. Right, so this is this is on the bad scale. Like so bad. Like it's horrible. It's right up there with some of the more special weapons of this game. I have no idea why they added this in. On PvP survival, it is a little better. It does get its appreciation there. I do have some appreciation for it there, but only because it's high rate of fire and it's sort of higher damage output essentially when you're on like in survival. But in general, in the game mode, it is awful, just absolutely awful. The performance of this weapon is, it's really quite, it's hard to hard to understand. It's really like if you had this choice between this gun and any other gun, like you would generally just need to choose something else. It is just, for lack of word, it's so shit. It's really bad. Well, it's just I'm having to like really move around and try and keep focus as much as possible on the targets. At distance, like that high RPM is totally useless because of the way it kicks up. So if you're to do it like that way, you would be like hitting maybe half your shots at best. At mid range, I have decent. But in general, if you had the choice and the rate of fire becomes completely useless because of the way it kicks up. So you can't consistently have shots. If you want to spam it, you'll get a few, oh sorry, you get a few chest shots, fair enough. But even then, it's really hard. Like I'm having to like pull right down there. That was kind of hitting his crotch constantly. It's really mental. This gun is just, it's like one of those guns you just would pick up and be like, oh look, deconstruct. So second last on the list, we have the Tiebreak. So Tiebreak is an exotic weapon. It's modelled on the previous one we just talked about there, and it's on the same sort of scale of bad to worse. It's really just kind of on the list of like really bad. It's situational at the best. So if you remove the actual way it handles, it is very situational. I have failed to find any way to make this useful. If you know by your NPCs, you'll know that LMB, the grenadiers, have weak spot. Most of the cleaners have weak spots. And that's pretty much it. A couple of the writers may have a backpack here or there. So the situation this gun can give you is very limited, especially in legendary mode. There's really no use for it whatsoever. It's not exactly special with the damage, and as you can see, that the talent itself gives a skill cooldown to all your teammates if you destroy a weak spot. That is if you get the final shot on it. So what we'll do is we'll shoot we'll shoot this one, right, the Tannerberry. As you can see, it suffers the same sort of problems as the previous sniper. The high rate of fire has become null and void because of the high way it sort of kicks up on you. So if you really want to get consistent headshots, you really have to get a bolt action and do the same rate of fire. Also, if you notice, that none of your agents in PvP have weak spots, so this is completely useless in PvP. So that's pretty much half the portion of the game. It's not even relevant on. Which is a shame because it could be a good gun if it did something with it. If it wasn't in the game, it's bad. I don't think anyone would miss it. I don't think anyone would be like, oh, can we get the FAL? Like, can we get this gun? Can we get it? Can someone do that at massive? Can we have this gun? Like, no one would care. No one would cry over this gun. If they removed it from the game tomorrow, no one would cry. No one on the Reddit forums or anyone would give a shit. If it did, there would be like a 0.0002% of the player base ever on the division actually use this gun as a go-to. Let's why it's bad anyway, right? Okay, let's go for this. So the reason why the FAL is the worst weapon in the game is because it's a burst fire. That might qualify the burst fire MP5 to be in there, but I didn't make the list because it's actually half decent. I quite like it. I won't use it on a daily basis, but it's actually better than this. So as you can see, low rate of fire, stable. But if you're a fan of Call of Duty, you'll remember this gun's actually meant to be a single fire gun. Alright, and if this was a single fire gun like a MDR, then this would probably save it, because it would have a really high damage output, and it would obviously be quite a good gun to use with the MDR. Again, there's nothing special, but it is just a burst fire weapon, and it does nothing good for anyone. No, that's just horrible. No, it's not even redeemable. You can't even say anything good about it. Yeah, that's just, if it was going tomorrow, no one would care. Okay guys, so then we're going to quickly go into the last three here. These are the ones that I think are the pistols. I wanted to put in the 93R, but sadly I didn't really care for it. It's so bad that they don't have to put it in the list. This is the Centurion, which is only really made decent by the Liberator. So unless you're carrying the Liberator, this gun is completely just like any other pistol. Rate of fires, half decent. Okay to use. But again, unless you've got the Liberator, this is just not worth having. Okay, so next gone up is the Damascus. Damascus is actually one of the cooler looking guns. I do actually like the way it is. It's actually quite a cool gun. A little trippy when you look at the visuals. A little trippy. The reason why this is the possibly one of the worst pistols you can ever use is because of its quick draw talent. Let's have a look at it. Let's have a look here. So, quick draw. When drawn, weapon damage is increased by 20% for 2 seconds. 2 seconds. After that, weapon damage is decreased by 20%. What? Why would you even do that to a gun? Oh, okay, see it work here. What? Why would you even do that to a gun? Why? And then decrease the damage by 20% on top of that? Oh god. Why would you even bother? What's a pistol going to do to an agent or an NPC? Yeah, that needs a buff. A a massive buff. And lastly, we have here is the snub nose rhino. Like, what was the point? What was the actual point? There is no point in this gun. It's just no. Just take it away. Don't look at it ever again. Don't even bother. It's just slightly more accurate than the big special rhinos, but like literally, the 6 shots can't increase that whatsoever. And it's yeah, it's right up there with pretty much the foul. If it was removed, no one would give a shit. So anyway guys, just get finish up here. So basically on this demonstration of different guns here, some of them are actually half decent. They would actually be really good to use in combat to give some sort of diversity. But as you know yourself, these guns are underwhelming and underused. But we do think obviously balancing of different guns. And like say if they umped the damage up on lower RPM weapons, things like the FAL would come back into fashion. But again, where do we draw the line on what becomes acceptable and what becomes a problem for being too OP? And then everyone in their gran is running for this one weapon, like the M4 L-Block type thing. So obviously this is a quick demonstration of the different kind of guns that are in the game, and what they're kind of the ones that if they were to go on tomorrow, no one would ever care. So I'm all for adding more guns to the game, but I'm also up for making guns like that more relevant, or even just removing them from the game in total. Anyway guys, I have been Baha, and you have been Watchers. Why my wee handshake is going down to the ground now? Don't understand this. Massive, please fix. Anyway, guys, if you like the video, drop us a like, subscribe, and have a nice day, whatever you're doing. Bye, guys.